Hi, my next guest is Uroš, a person that I work with, my business partner, and somebody that I meet on the hallway every day, but I never get to ask him questions that I would like. So, I have a set of questions for you.
Okay.
And it concerns new product development in Nutricosmetics.
Right.
So the first one would be, how do you follow trends in Nutricosmetics, and what trends are now, would you highlight?
Okay. So firstly, how do we follow trends? Yeah. I think that there are many ways on how to follow them. Just we need to keep our eyes open. We talk to friends, we talk to our business partners, to ingredient suppliers, to our colleagues, and so on. So the most important thing is just having your eyes open. We also visit fairs. We read magazines and stuff like that. Okay. There are numbers of ways really on how to just absorb knowledge.
Okay. And for you, fairs are still educational. You can find new stuff and
yes,
are valuable to you?
Yes, I would say yes, because there's one thing when you read things on the internet, but it's really another when you go to the fairs, when you talk to real faces, to real people. Okay. And just breathe in new information and brainstorm with a lot of people, see a lot of new things. I think this is still the best way. I don't know, I don't think that fairs are going anywhere, really.
But just another question that came up, and I didn't actually write it here.
Okay.
But the Nutricosmetic community,
yeah,
the people that you speak with,
right.
How big is this community?
This is a tough question because these lines between Nutricosmetic and food supplement is blurred. Okay. So are you talking about, asking about specific Nutricosmetic?
No, it can be a general term, supplement, but that deals with collagen, with hyaluronic acid, etc.
It's quite big. I was in the Vita Foods last month. Okay. And I was really surprised because there were a lot of exhibitors talking about either collagen or vegan collagen or just Nutricosmetics in general. Beauty from within seems to be really hot. So, yeah, I would say it's relatively a big community.
And what would be a current trend? Is it still collagen?
Is it still collagen?
Or is it wider?
Yeah. I can say that collagen is still a trend, but it's a trend because it's very hot, but in the same time, it's been here for around 10 or 15 years, okay. And everybody kept saying this is going to,
disappear.
This will disappear, you know how it is.
And then you have a vegan movement, so...
Of course, yeah. This is something that I wanted to talk about. We have collagen, which I would say that is still a trend. It's very hot and niche, but it does not pair well with other trends in the industry, which is the veganism movement, of course. So it does take some glitter out of collagen, but at the same time, collagen is an upcycled ingredient, which is another trend, actually. So we can compensate here. For those that don't know, upcycled ingredient is something that is actually a byproduct, in this case of the meat industry, and it's taken back into the food chain, let's say. So it's being reused, and it still tackles sustainability in the right way.
Okay, and on a long run, I know that we have now this enzymatically made collagen.
Yeah.
What is happening with this?
It seems to me that it's not commercially viable yet.
Okay.
Some examples, some lab scaled batches were made. Okay. There's a lot of fuss, a lot of talking about it, but I don't think it's going to be soon available commercially. Even it has to go through this rigorous process of being approved by the European Commission or by the FDA in the States.
So EFSA in Europe, it's a novel food.
Yeah, it would be definitely novel food. So this, we need to say at least 3-4 years maybe, if today is commercially yeah, I would say that, something like that.
Okay, interesting. Okay, any other trends?
Well, sure, we see a lot of terms like gut microbiome, because I think that consumers are getting more educated and they understand that health comes from within, from the gut. Everything starts there. So things like probiotics are hot. These are live organisms that dwell in your gut but can also be taken orally and are beneficial also to the skin. And then there are prebiotics, which is foods for those organisms. And then we have postbiotics, which are actually byproducts that probiotics do when they eat prebiotics. So that's one thing. Then maybe fermentation is also hot, but it's not associated with ingredient, but actually to a process, fermentation. So,
but which product would you like? Can you claim that it's fermented? What would be a fermented?
A lot of products are fermented. You would be surprised. Even hyaluronic acid, which is a long time companion to collagen associated with skin hydration, is also produced via fermentation. So,
what about ceramides?
Ceramides, I think no. This is extract, but to be fair, this is also trendy. I would say ceramides are trendy. They have been known in the cosmetic industry for quite some time, but now we see that we can always see a benefit if we eat them, and we see this on the skin. It has a positive influence on skin.
One of the guests today will be Nate from Essentia.
Yes.
And CBD. What's your opinion? What's your take on CBD?
Maybe I'll have an argument with him about it, because I was never fond of CBD because it always had this bad vibe because of the regulatory affairs, and I don't know, maybe it's going to happen, maybe it's going to change something in the future, but for the time being CBD is not allowed, so nobody from the big industry will want to tackle on it.
Okay, but have you noticed some small brands that are using it for ingestible?
Small brands, yes. Small brands, yes, but it's very local for now. Yeah.
Okay. So next question: how do you come up with new products?
Okay.
When you develop for TOSLA, not something that is coming from a client and the client has its own requirements, but when you say to yourself, I want to have something new in the portfolio that we can offer to a potential client.
Yeah. Well, it all starts with an idea, but the idea can come from client, either potential or existing, but also inside the company. You know yourself, we have daily meetings or even coffee talks, and then we brainstorm and the ideas pop up. But then we have a set of requirements that we need to follow before we take it into the lab.
So what would be those requirements?
For example, we need to first see what is the clinical data, if there's any significant proof that stuff that we would like to use in our products really works. This is most important thing, maybe. Then regulatory affairs, what is the regulatory status of the ingredient? Like I mentioned before, CBD is not allowed, so I don't want to waste time or money to develop something with this. Then, as we are a ready-to-drink company, manufacturer, we need to be mindful that those ingredients that we use are water-soluble or at least dispersible, because we don't want to get a sediment at the bottom once, you know. I think this is really a mark of a bad product. It's not the thing that this is not allowed, because you always put, you know, shake before use label, but it's much nicer if things is dissolved, you know. Then of course some active ingredients have very bad taste, and we need to be mindful about that too, because we need to at least have some idea how to mask it, how to put everything together in order to have a palatable taste at the end. Then stability is also very challenging in most cases.
In which terms? Stability of the potency of the ingredients, stability of, let's say, appearance, you said sediments.
Yeah, all of that, but I was mainly talking about the active ingredients. Because, you know, once you put things in water, when you dissolve it, they tend to interact with other ingredients, and they decay over time. This is really problematic. You want to make sure that what you put inside in the first day of production is also inside on the last day of production. So this is quite challenging.
You possess the technological knowledge to do that.
Yeah.
For the time being, I know that we were able to cope with this challenge.
We were definitely. I just want to put some light on how difficult it was, because it's not self-evident.
So you were bragging a little.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last question.
Yeah.
How do you test the functionality and safety of the product?
Well, safety. First, I would say that first we make a product specification where we put parameters on it, things like ingredient potency, microbiology, sensory appreciation, some physicochemical properties, and then we take measures to follow these parameters. We also implemented current good manufacturing practice following FDA guidelines, and this really tells us how to manage like facility management, product testing, staff training, all of those things. And we have annual inspections by them, by these kind of third certification bodies, let's say, and they check if everything is working smoothly, and they are suggesting improvements in order to avoid any mistakes from our side in the process of manufacturing, labeling, and packing. This is what I would say about safety. Also, we have an in-house laboratory. We can do things like microbiology, contamination testing, and some physicochemical parameters. We always follow, of course, rules like legislation. And we also use third-party laboratories to validate our methods to see if what we're doing is right. But when it comes to functionality, this is another thing that has to be separated from safety. It's another thing, you know, because if a product is safe, it doesn't mean that it's functional or that it works. And I think that in food supplements, it's very important that the thing works, because it's a primary decision driver when it comes to purchasing.
One of the guests today will be Katya, so we will discuss the clinical studies.
Yes. I'm very eager to listen to this conversation, because we just started to working with them. It's really going well with them. They do a clinical study. They recently did it. It was a double-blinded, placebo-controlled study, which is a gold standard really in our industry. For those that don't know, it means that the patients that were inside the study don't know what products are having. So they either have placebo or a product that should work, hypothetically. And then we hire experts who periodically measure things like skin density, skin texture, skin hydration, and so on. And they also don't know whether the patient that they're just, examining, if they have been using placebo or a real product. So no no cheating here, really.
Were you pleasantly surprised by the results?
Yeah, really. We really were. There was a significant correlation between taking supplements and seeing visible effects with most of parameters. Some of them were really big, significant, but we could also see a positive trend in all parameters, meaning that if we prolong the time that people take it, then we could see results in all parameters after 4 or 5 months.
So you think that the 12 weeks was not enough? We should do it
yes.
30 or 24? Or...
Yeah, for sure. It would really help to get probably 100%.
Okay, yeah, but it's also a problem getting participants that would like to take it for 24 weeks. Some of them are basically because they're volunteering and being paid.
For sure, yeah.
That's a challenge also.
That's also a challenge, but Katja will probably be able to tell you more. We were also surprised that most of the participants really held all of those weeks. We've been even getting calls from the patients, where can we buy the product, which is really encouraging.
Yeah, great. Hey, thank you. It was a pleasure having you, interviewing you, actually. Not just meeting you at work.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you.